NewsBiscuit. Real fake news.
Welcome to NewsBiscuit, the UK's original fake news. NewsBiscuit, comedy's version of national service. I'm your host, Wrenfoe, and I'm joined by the last three remaining Tory voters. FlashArry.
Oh, I'm not happy with that.
Oh, sorry, we're down to two Tory voters now. We're losing them fast. Sparkly Bob.
I deny all of this. I'm an actor.
We're down to one. And Paul L., the last remaining Tory voter.
How dare you? I'm Reform.
Oh, no. Oh, well, you got it here first on NewsBiscuit. The entire Tory base has collapsed in the space of one introduction. This month sees Julian Assange released, but James Corden is still at large. MPs are caught betting on the election and gambling with their careers. And England crash out of the Euros. Oh, no, sorry. No, that's next week's news. Did anyone see the Biden-Trump debate?
I heard about it.
I likened it. Someone asked me about it, and I likened it. I said, it's like you've got two pilots, right? One pilot is asleep at the wheel, and the other pilot will get you to your destination, but he insists on singing racist songs over the tannoy for the duration of the journey. They also had like a whole minute rant between the two of them as to who was the best golfer. That was the only time, swear to God, that was the only time either of them seemed to make any kind of sense.
That's why I'm not voting next week. I don't know who's the best golfer out of our two. I mean, it's never discussed. And
it'd be miniature golf, given the size of Starman's Rashid.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be full size. And that brings us to our first round news and brief, where our panelists select their favourite headlines. Sparkly Bob, what have you got?
Tories to try writing "Stop the Boats" in bigger letters to see if that works. Man who had large mole removed from nose says the worst thing was those front claws.
Oh, God.
Ed Davey completes tour of all Britain's theme parks.
He's had what I originally assumed was like a horrendous campaign, because he was seemed to be just messing around on water rafts and bouncy castles. But it's actually worked out quite well, because the press reluctantly are covering him, because I don't think they want to cover the Lib Dems because they're a small party, but they're like, these is such good photographs.
Oh, he was having a lovely time. Lovely time, an inflatable slide yesterday.
Well,
lovely.
Someone online was speculating that actually this isn't like a tactic. Ed Davey just had a holiday booked. So when the election was called, he was like, no, I'm just doing the holiday.
Yeah, we're not going to win anyway.
Yeah.
So you can come and film me, but here I am having a lovely time. He's just literally days out for Ed. And afterwards, he can do this as holiday things. He could actually like set up other people's holidays. Did you like my election campaign? Let me recreate it for you.
all the kids wait for the summer holes, go, Mummy, Daddy, can we do what Ed did? You know,
I want to do the Ed summer camp, please.
Yeah.
Davey's days out.
Oh, yes, this is good. This is the best Dragon's Den episode we've had.
Tories betting on what will happen to Tories found guilty of betting on election date.
It's been unbelievable.
Oh.
Everyone seems to be betting on the election. I mean, maybe they always did it and we'd only just noticed. It's a snowball effect, because obviously all these kind of various Tory aides and stuff, and then a few Tory MPs, I think, have been sort of dragged into it.
Police.
And then a load of police, the Metropolitan Police, all seem to be gambling on it.
What a surprise.
Once they heard about the bet that the Tory MPs have put in, they're like, oh, that sounds like a good one. Rather than seeing like a lead, they're seeing it like a tip.
I think the one who's got the biggest balls of all of them is the campaign guy, the one who actually runs the director of campaigning. I mean, mate, like, you can't say, well, I didn't know. That was a complete mystery to me. I had no idea when we were going to do a campaign, because literally it's your job. Potentially you came up with the date. It took me completely by surprise as I placed my bets.
And it's called some Labour people now as well. There's a Labour candidate. But the thing is, what's quite curious about it, there's a slightly bigger to do about it, and the press haven't really picked up on it. The fact that he paid the Labour Party £100,000 to be given a safe seat at the election, and now he's being sort of withdrawn as a candidate. They've got to kind of reluctantly pay £100,000 back. He's up £100,000 on the whole gambling.
I keep getting the feeling that everyone is actually trying to throw the election. So, they're all desperately trying to lose. So the next government will be Buckethead and Farage.
I'm all right with that. Normally I break out in a cold sweat. But I'm going, Farage is a bit extreme, but I think Buckethead would maybe,
I think
moderate.
Buckethead would be good.
He's a balancing effect. Yes.
Yeah.
Until he reveals himself to be Farage.
Like the Masked Singer.
Bingo callers introduced Gambler's Den for number 10. Absolutely inspired. And I'll tell you what, if you want to laugh, go and look up actual bingo calling. Well, allegedly bingo calling, because it's absolutely nuts. Apparently, the one I looked up this morning, number 23, is Lisa Scott Lee, a singer from Steps, because her number 2004 single got to number 23 in the charts. I was like, that can't be a well-known fan. There must be bingo callers going, what number's that?
But surely because it's rhymes, doesn't it? Lisa Scott Lee, number 23.
Apparently that's not the reason. The reason's for her 2004 hit. If you thought it got to number 15, you're marking the wrong number on your thing. So
so they'd only I haven't been to bingo years. So what, they wouldn't even call out the number, they just call it out a name, and in your head you've got to go, fuck, which one is that?
Yeah.
No.
Not all of them rhyme. What's another particularly awful one is Gandhi's breakfast, because it's 8-0 because of his strike. But honestly, if you want to laugh, have a look, Google them. There's loads of different versions, and some of them are wildly inappropriate.
I'm just shocked that Wrenfoe, the man of the people, has not been to bingo in ages.
We did a spate of going to bingo, and there's one that we went in quite a rough area, and we were like, oh, it's well people can still smoke, and we were like, oh, is there any like non-smoking area? And they were like, oh yeah, and they literally took us to the middle of the hall where there was these 4 seats with a non-smoking sign, and you were surrounded by everyone else smoking. And we were like, thanks. Yeah, it definitely won't spread into this bit.
FlashArry.
Police chief sacked for claiming he fought at Agincourt.
That's the story. Yeah, this police chief. What did he? It was the Navy, wasn't it? He claimed to have been in and served.
Well, he was in the Navy, but he was wearing a medal awarded for the Falklands when he would have been 15.
Medals for Trafalgar.
That would have been later. It was his brother's medal, I think, or something like that. But whether that
makes
I'm
it
not
better
sure
or
quite.
Worse. I've stolen medals from another veteran.
I took my brother's cycle proficiency badge once, so I can't talk.
To do
the
what?
guilt on those shoulders.
Get to cinemas or something. To cycle.
To cycle, yeah. You had it in your pocket in case you were stopped. Oh, no, officer. I was on the wrong side of the road. I went for a red light, but I have got my cycling proficiency, so I think you're fine.
I never thought you could use the badge in scenarios, like almost like a police badge.
Yeah.
Can you then can you commandeer other people's bicycles with it? Can you just go, this is official business, and pull them over and grab the bike and then follow that taxi or whatever they're doing.
Follow that pedicab.
Yeah.
National Arboretum to be axed. RSC bans crowd surfing.
Oh, that's Ian McKellen, isn't it?
Yes.
Fell off the stage. Was someone on NewsBiscuit right? Gandalf the Grey. I was in a production once where it was about athletics or whatever, and they constructed a running track that went sort of up and up and up and up and up and actually disappeared into the boxes in the auditorium. But we had a blind member of the cast, and the director insisted that this blind actor regularly went up on this huge kind of runway that went up into the gods. And there were no bars or barriers or safety nets or anything. And this guy regularly fell off. It was horrendous. You'd be sitting in the wings, waiting for your scene, and you just hit this whack as he'd hit the ground. And just like, oh my word. It was a simpler time back then. There was no health and safety. and blindness wasn't seen as a disability, just something to power. Something to power through.
Power through.
Yeah.
Just try harder.
And sorry.
The poor dog's sitting in the wings as well.
Yeah, the dog's going, I could have stopped this. If only you give me a role in the show.
We were too rich to afford poor friends, says Richie Sunak.
This is a strange one, isn't it? You've got this kind of odd one-upmanship. This is both Starmer and Sunak, haven't they? They did the whole thing of we were too poor to have Sky TV. Was that their whole shtick? Now, I mean, I reckon I'm a similar age to both those guys. I remember when Sky first came out, and well, first up, it was always the poorest person of my friends who always had Sky TV. It wasn't a sign of wealth. It was a sign that you had nothing other than Sky TV. So you knock that out of the park straight away. It's a bogus argument. But also, Keir Starmer, because Keir Starmer was claiming that he was going, I didn't have Sky TV either. But Keir Starmer's quite a bit older. So he was bitching and moaning about not having Sky TV while clearly living at home with his parents in his 20s. You're like, that's a sad image you paint there, mate. Why are you still watching The Simpsons in your 20s? What's the matter with you? Mum, Dad, we haven't got Sky yet. You go out and get a job. You're 26. Get your own Sky.
And there was also, he's been going on about his father being a tool maker, and you're thinking that's a dangerous phrase to use in interviews, isn't it?
He said that a million times.
I'll tell you what, after this, I'm going to go and get a job as a communications director for one of these parties, because I could do a hell of a lot better job than they are. Literally, who is not saying to him after the first interview, right, they've got it, mate. They've got it. He was a tool maker. Don't mention that again. Just don't refer to it. Absolutely fine. It's out there. Oh, no, there he is again and again and again.
And it's
like,
fallen. Yeah, it's now like it was obviously a bit of a cliche. And it's like this humble brag that he perpetually does.
Yeah.
But when he did the debate, the audience laughed at him this time. They all laughed when he said it, because it's become so cliche.
We're all sitting here looking at one of the tools he made.
Yes.
I saw it, actually an MPU I know is stepping down. I think it's actually Richard Osman's mother-in-law. And she was like trying to pretend that she'd like, she knew what it's like about going to, being a mature student, because she started, then she dropped out. But she dropped out because her husband got like a job in Kuwait. And you're like, right. So he worked in the oil industry then. So he's famously wealthy. And then she's like, and then we came back to this country a bit. So then I did my second year. And you're like, right, okay, so you were well off enough that you could then rejoin and go back to uni. And then I dropped out again because then he got a job in Saudi. So he went back into the oil industry.
She's just had multiple gap years.
Yeah, and you're like, you poor. That must have been really, really, really tough, because that's what a lot of mature students go through. Is I had to leave my course to earn a lot of money, and then I managed to come back, and it was really hard, guys. It was really hard.
It's like the worst blues songs you've ever heard. I woke up this morning and I found my trust fund was down to the last million. Da, 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 da. My husband left me, but only briefly, to go and get more oil money from Kuwait. Da, 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 da. I mean, it doesn't land. It doesn't land, I'm afraid.
Rishi, go back to your constituencies and prepare for oblivion.
Yeah, there's stuff. There's stuff. So what were the things that Sunak did? The mad national service thing. Obviously, that was just mad. I was out the country at the time when it happened. And I was like, what has Britain done? I've only been out of the country for 24 hours and we've put in national service again. How has that happened?
Without your steadying hand at the tiller.
I didn't realise how important I was until he launched his speech in the rain, didn't he? That was great.
Oh,
that
God,
was that was good. Follow-up speech at the dock where the Titanic was launched. And everyone's like, what are you doing?
Oh, and doing his man of the people thing. He was in Wales and asking them how they were looking forward to the football.
Yes.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Was that somewhere visiting a workplace and then asked somebody, do you work here? And then the guy was like, no, I'm homeless. And he was like, oh. And then she couldn't think of anything to say about that.
Have you got Sky TV?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then his other big blooper, and it wouldn't have been a blooper if it wasn't the fact that it was off the back of him banging on about national service, was going to the D-Day memorial thing and then legging it 30 minutes earlier. Yeah. If he hadn't played the whole I'm really into war and soldiers stuff, then maybe you would have gone, oh, that's fine, he's been there a while and he's just gone off to do something else. But leaving early did not look good. And he also missed all the best bits of the D-Day service. And I don't mean about kind of commemorating D-Day, I mean about all the stuff about Joe Biden just facing the wrong way and wandering off and talking to randoms and falling over. That was all brilliant. And he missed all of that. Joe just in full dementia mode. That's what the D stands for.
Rishi was also blanked by loads of people, but I thought it's probably just because he's so short. They literally just didn't see him.
Looked over the
They
top
were like,
of his head.
okay, I'm trying to find, where is he? And then he's like, I'm down here.
Hopping up and down.
And then like, stand up, I am standing.
Yeah, nobody move. I've dropped the Prime Minister.
Yeah.
Paul L. What have you got?
Starmer happy with England team, boringly doing the bare minimum and finishing top. Did you vote Conservative in 2019? You may be eligible for compensation.
It seems so long ago, 2019. I mean, how many do you measure these things in prime ministers? How many prime ministers have we had since then?
Is it 5? 2. 3, 4, 5. It's 5.
It's very easy for people to forget Liz Truss because it was
So
it was so
short.
brief. But they do say that the light that burns twice as bright burns half as long, and she did burn so very brightly.
It was all the money. She was setting fire to it.
BBC News seeks new walking around in the background guy. These people are not journalists, as first assumed, but much smarter looking people who are required to put on a suit, strut around looking important, hold documents they never actually read. And that's exactly like former Director Generals. Trainee bread maker has something to prove. Glastonbury Festival organisers make emergency appeal for mud. They should get a wet one every now and again because it's been dry for a while.
They should get a what? What goes on with you when you go to Glastonbury? Paul's ready for his wet one.
I will rephrase that. They are due for some rain.
The 2 times I went, it absolutely poured down. And one time, this was back when I was just out of uni and I worked, and I was working as like a litter picker. So I was up at like 5 because then it meant you could go back to sleep and then go and watch all the vans. And the mud was so bad. I'd gone down this little pathway and I actually got stuck. And I was like, I'm going to be here for hours because no one's going to get up for like 5 hours and no one's going to find me.
You're going to be like one of those Pompeii people just
What was
stuck
she
in
doing?
mud.
Possibly the reintroduction of the Glastonbury slurry cannon. So, you're privileged enough to be here. You managed to get to the front of the queue and get the tickets, but there's a downside.
And the downside is not actually a slurry cannon, it's just literally a cannon of water from the local river, which is also a slurry cannon.
Thank you, Thames Water.
For your donation.
Oh, Lord.
Did you see the video online of that farmer finds someone camping in his field and covers him in shit?
No.
And he filmed the whole thing. So he's like, oh, there's someone in my field. And he drives past in his tractor, which obviously has a thing on it that can fire out all the shit, and completely coats this person. He said, oh, that'll teach him, and it's gone viral, and it's definitely split the internet. A lot of people going, oh, that's terrible, that's abuse, and other people going, no, I hate campers, screw them. The next round is True Biscuit, where our panel has to guess which is a real headline and which is a fake one. Paul L.
Forest bathers extol benefits of ecotherapy.
What? Oh, hold on. You're not bathing in water.
Yep.
That's dangerous.
You're doing.
Don't go water. You're
going front crawl in a forest.
You are going into a forest
in your swimmers.
Well, no. You're spouting, stuff that's not really right there. I mean, they do go.
Oh, I'm spouting rubbish. Oh, sorry. Beg your pardon, Paul. Over to you.
Look, there's a founder, rector of Forest, and she says misconceptions like that are quite dangerous because forest bathing does not simply involve taking off your clothes.
but she's not ruling it out, though.
No.
Wouldn't that be a great little? That would be a great thing at the bottom of every kind of work contract you had. Working in this office doesn't necessarily involve not taking your clothes off, but we're not ruling it out.
But it helps.
Yeah, casual Fridays.
A pine forest wouldn't be nice. All those spikes.
Yes, well considered there, FlashArry. Someone speaks from bitter experience.
I was picking them out afterwards.
And I didn't enjoy that at all, FlashArry. Don't make me do it again. You can take friendship only so far. How am I bathing in a forest? How is that happening?
Well, I think it's more the terminology. I mean, it's essentially, let's say what it is going into a forest.
It's basically they're rebanding going for a walk.
So if I go in my car and have a drive? Am I like street bathing? I mean, what? Do you
Yeah.
just
Car
stick there
bathing.
bathing on the end of anything, and it's like you've just.
I'm
made it-
house bathing at the
Yeah.
moment, literally as we speak.
That's very good.
Yeah, thanks. It's very relaxing.
Yeah. Like you go to visit the local sort of swimming bar, so they've got rules like no kind of bombing in the pool and no pissing in it. Are you not allowed to like wee in the forest or
Heavy
bomb in the
petting.
forest? Heavy petting, yeah.
My cousin went to the forest once. I don't
Oh
know if he was.
Oh yeah. What did your cousin do, Paul?
It's more what he saw. He saw two men having relations. So I don't know if they were forest bathing.
That's definitely heavy petting.
Forest bathing. It's a thing.
Does that mean you could go for a cop's shower?
Got this image of the Metropolitan
Yeah.
Police pissing on me.
That sounds most unpleasant.
I guess it's less risky. You don't get shark attacks and things, do you? Or if you
Get
did,
bear
you'd be really
attacks.
unlucky.
Yeah.
The forest bathing sounds ridiculous and stupid, but Paul's cousin saw some men bonking. So there's on that gave it a sense of realism, gritty realism that I wasn't expecting.
Yeah.
So FlashArry, true or false?
Going to go for true.
Yeah, you know what? There's like, isn't it the manager speak where they say, "Oh, thought leadership," and you're kind of like, "Do you mean thinking? Do you mean having a?" And I think forest bathing is having a walk in a forest. So I think it's true.
Is true. Yes. Forest bathing is a thing, or walking into a forest, as it used to be called.
Oh, we are finished as a civilization where we're just having to rebrand walking.
It's like people go on about cold showers now, don't they? They go, "Oh, I've discovered a cold shower." I was like, cold showers have been around.
Long before hot showers, really.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
pretty
also
much.
known as everyone getting in the shower before you did, and
Yeah.
therefore,
So is that a thing? People are
yeah,
finding cold showers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are they so uncurious? They've never looked at the knob, the twiddly knob thing on the shower and gone, "What could that possibly do?" They've never.
It's like almost shocking your system, but you can obviously do it in the
Yeah.
shower. Also sounds like a one-way ticket to pneummonia to me, but
Yeah.
what do I know? Like,
What are the health benefits to shocking your system?
well, you
Just
probably
like-
do feel alive after you've got out of it.
Yeah, the
Your
same
body
benefits
is
of licking a
screaming
plug.
at you.
Yeah. Wiring yourself into the mains would be quite a...
Yes, yeah, equally.
FlashArry.
Wooden sewing tool found on Hadrian's Wall, actually a sex toy, claims archaeologist.
That he'd left. He's like, "Sorry, no, that is mine."
You thought it was Roman. It's
Yeah.
my bad.
Yeah, it was just we had an office party here last week and we didn't clear
It
up.
all got...
Is that large kind of thing that got chopped down? Then is that the part of the what was it?
The Sycamore Gap.
It's been it's been recycled.
Is this for your? This will fill your Sycamore Gap, Mrs. Horrible musical routine. So it's a Roman sex toy, and it's just what? Did you say wooden one? And it's just been there, exposed to the elements since like.
Been found in a dig at one of the forts.
Oh, I just thought it was just
Oh,
lying on top of the
Yeah.
wall.
Yeah,
I just thought
shoved in a gap,
this
you
huge
know.
dildo.
Well,
Okay, so it's
yeah.
it's shoved in. Well, I imagine what was happening. Paul's cousin will attest to this. Two guys were at it, involved, and they had some sort of thing with them. And then one of the centurions came past. They went, "Oh shit,
So-
hide
oh,
it!" And they just shoved it into the masonry. And
Yeah.
then they forgot about it because before they knew it, the Scots were running over the horizon. Would your cousin back me on that, Paul?
Yes.
Yeah. And he is a cottaging expert.
By accident, he's cottaging expert.
Oh yes,
Sorry,
so
sir.
that's the line you have to explain in court. Otherwise, you get it.
But then it's interesting. It was originally a sewing, was it a sewing implement? And then this guy has come along and said, "Oh no, I think it's that,"
No,
because I think that
oh,
says a
yeah.
lot about him
I'm saying
and
it.
how he views the world. Like everyone
Yeah,
else is like, "It's a spindle." I don't know what you're talking about.
And he's like, "No, that will
Literally,
definitely
really-
fit." He says,
Yeah.
"Yes, I can get
I've
two
tried
of
it.
those
It's
in."
definitely yes.
I like Sparkly Bum's idea though. That it's like it's an entire spinning jenny. He goes,
The
no,
loom.
you strap this in and you. It's
Yeah.
like, oh my
Oh
word.
my god.
Yeah. You've seen 50 Shades of Grey, haven't you? It's one of them. I'm gonna say false, just because. Why not? I think it is a shoehorn for a
So you're going to
boot
say
or
false
something.
just for inject the podcast with the air of suspense.
Yeah.
Which
exactly.
is so lacking. Paul L. Roman sex toys. I'm offering you at this point. You can't see. I've got a little selection here.
Do I just click on one?
This one's shaped
or-
like a coliseum.
I'm going to say, just to take any doubt out of it, true. No suspense now.
No, suck the joy out at the moment.
I have a picture of it in front of me, and it's phallus-like appearance if you squint a bit and are really, really desperate. It's just a piece of random wood that's slightly tapered at one end.
So Sparkly Bob was right. It's
Yeah,
just a
it
random
says
piece
more
of wood,
about-
and this
yeah.
guy's just jumped to
Yeah.
the conclusion of, well, any object's a sex toy if you're desperate enough and
Yeah, if you're
lubricated
willing.
enough. Yes.
Yeah.
See, this is a guy now I want to take on lots of archaeological digs, and to his conclusion, always to me, it's a sex toy. Look, here are the pyramids, definitely a sex toy. You're like, what the hell?
Or a building to live in, or a sex toy.
It does feel like he's sort of gone, we need to get in the news about something. We're losing our funding. What can we look? This looks like a sex toy. Yes, here we go. Get the news on this.
It's nice because it's one of the few professions whereby suggesting something's a sex toy, you still get a bit of kind of kudos and you like say publicity. Any other job, like if you're in an office and you reach into a drawer and pull something out and go, "Is this a sex toy?" You're in trouble. You're having to see HR the next day. You don't get credit for like going, "Is this stapler? Could it be a sex toy?"
Well, you might be able to get away at that at Sex Toys R Us.
Please tell me that's not a real place.
It feels like it should be.
Probably just off, it's one of those places off the M1.
That takes us to Sparkly Bob, I think.
Image from James Webb Telescope revealed to actually be a slice of chorizo.
So is it? I mean, how long is the telescope itself? Or was someone just sitting on the end of this very long telescope eating a sandwich and it dropped on?
Well, apparently after it was discovered to be a chorizo, the director then went, "Oh, actually, it was a joke, and I'm just showing you shouldn't believe everything you read in the papers." And ha 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 ha. Here's an actual photo of some actual stars.
It's really a sex toy.
Yeah, yeah. It's either a sun or oops, I'm having a lovely pizza. I haven't got as much topping as I normally have. Oh my god, look at that image. That's amazing. Quick photo taken, tweet it. This will be me in the papers for years to come. Really clear photo. Oh, how
This moon is
embarrassing.
delicious.
It's a lump of cheese. Oh my god.
The moon is made of cheese.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
Why
Right,
is the
that's it,
scientist
mate.
putting this seed of doubt into our heads? Those flat
Yeah, they
earthers, they've got a point, you know.
Yeah.
You're like, why? Why are you telling us this?
Yeah. You can see the curve with your own eyes, do you? The horizon looks like a straight line.
Yeah. Big flat pizza. Paul, you've often looked at meat through a telescope. Certainly, your
not
cousin.
going back to
That was his cousin.
I honestly did not know where that sentence was going.
At least it looks much bigger through a telescope. So there's a win there. So
I'm going to say, just because I think scientists saying to us, don't believe everything you read or we say is awful. Because it's like, well, I'm going to say, hopefully this is false and this is a NewsBiscuit story.
So I'm going to go false.
No, it's true. He tweeted it and then afterwards apologised. But he said a scientist joke is able to be to remind people to be wary of arguments from people in positions of authority. And then, of course, everyone went, "Oh my god, coming from a scientific research director, this is really inappropriate."
I
What are you doing?
I don't want someone going, "You know what? Stage 4 cancer, Mr. Wrenfoe." Not really. Oh, Lance.
It was just a bit of mushroom.
Okay, well, finally, we've reached the magic 8 ball.
The magic 8 ball!
Each of our guests is going to give us their predictions for next month's news.
With the deployment of snipers at one of the New York T20 cricket matches, you can see the ICC looking at this as a way to keep run rates up and tackle dissent in the field.
So, as Farage claims the campaigner caught on camera was an actor set up to depict Reformer as a racist, everyone else asks, well, what's your excuse then? And meanwhile, Rishi has launched an investigation to see whether the Conservative Party as a whole is a rogue acting troupe set up to make the Conservative Party look incompetent and corrupt in front of the camera.
After 36 days of causing misery to the UK, politics to turn itself in on July the 4th.
That brings us to the end of the episode, and I can reveal this month's winner is anyone who likes their presidential candidates incoherent. I'd like to thank FlashArry,
Thank you.
Paul L,
Thank you very much.
and Sparkly Bob.
Cheers.
And I leave you with these headlines. Spring lambs are being investigated by the Gambling Commission.
Oh.
Yeah, I know.
Hey.
Thank you. MP having buttock reduction surgery, afraid he might lose his seat. And Rishi Sunak runs out of feet to shoot himself in.
You've been listening to NewsBiscuit, free to read and free to write for. We accept submissions from any budding satirist, young or old. Visit newsbiscuit.com to submit headlines, stories, and to support new writers.
NewsBiscuit. Real fake news.
Now, technically, this is our election special.
Oh, God, is it?
Well, I mean, you know, I wasn't to know when we all booked ourselves on that there
That's
was going to
very
be a
true.
snap election.
The sense of responsibility we've got because people will listen to this and then
Yeah,
decide how to vote.
we could swing it.
Yeah.
I think it's not too late for Rishi to make a comeback if we back him. I don't know how accurate the polls are, because polls have been pretty bad actually in the last few elections. But even if it's just a little bit accurate, the Tories are screwed.
I think I'm going to have to stay up. I think I'm because I want them to. I want to actually be like there when they go to that little room and they're standing right on the end. They're not even next.
Yeah, because they came fifth.
Watching
Yeah.
the dominoes fall.
Yeah, there's Count Buckethead is ahead of them in the pecking order.
Yeah.
Yeah, they refer to it, don't they, as a Michael Portillo moment, because that was that election where everyone stayed up late and could see these really kind of famous ministers
Yeah.
losing their jobs. The only downside is I don't think I know that many of the ministers these days. So whether it have the same emotional impact that after my 500th education secretary of the week, I don't know.
Yeah.
The election's just bizarrer than I could ever possibly imagine, which is great from a comedy perspective, but I fear for Western democracy. We're screwed.
Oh, yeah.
But NewsBiscuit's got lots of stuff to write about, so that's the important thing.
Yeah.
Great times to be living through if you're Chinese.
Yes.
If you're Chinese, you're going, brilliant. This empire thing's easy because
Yeah.
everyone else is destroying themselves.